do is the women of the world are more powerful than what most of them are aware of. And through multiple means, they can influence the men to do right. Positive reinforcement for positive behavior. Negative effect, negative reinforcement for negative behavior. Not love, sex, and affection towards the killer, and not disregarding and ignoring the good men that are out there that actually care about you. When that consensus reality changes in this city, and people like me seem to have a larger value in society instead of someone that you don't even want to talk to, then the world changes. It's through my personal experiences and women going out of their way to make me feel small because I don't put a cap on my level of awareness because of what I am and what I do and what's said on my YouTube channel and what's said on this show. It frightens people and it challenges their very belief systems that everything's going to be fine and we're going to ascend and move forward, become conscious without any attempt to change things physically or protect the weak or the women out there that are already getting raped in the Middle East. Now, unless we're willing to feel and open up our heart chakra, how are we to expect that everything is going to be fine for us? We can look at this from other angles as well. The United States is carte blanche to engage in what it's engaging in. Many women have been raped and trafficked via the U.S. military and the contractors like DynCorp. Cynthia McKinney, a very strong voice, challenged Rumsfeld on this in 2000. But yet there's a lot of people that don't know about this, that DynCorp was caught busted. They were busted, trafficking little girls to different parts of the Middle East as well as Africa. We've also seen examples of UN peacekeepers, UN peacekeeping troops also engaged in raping little girls, many as young as 3, 4, and 5. And as much as that might disgust you, and it disgusts me as well, I don't see how ignoring this, I don't see how pretending this doesn't exist is going to make the situation better. I don't understand how calling Alex the bad man is going to make the situation better, as much as you might not want to hear that these things are taking place. Ignoring its very existence is actually helping its very growth and flourishment throughout our society and this growing global ghetto that we're living in. There are different examples of people throughout history, women throughout history, that have attempted sex strikes to convince, to influence men to stop warring with one another. Kenya, was the women's sex strike a success? Wednesday, April 29th, 2009. 10 women's organizations called on Kenyan women to forsake the pleasures of the flesh in order to push the government to accelerate reforms. Result, albeit the effectiveness of the boycott among the ruling class, ordinary Kenyans have widely criticized the move. Sex strikers have resumed their normal activities. April 29th, 10 Kenyan women's associations invited women to abstain from sex in order to end continuous disputes between two rival parties, two rival armies. This process is essential to prevent the country from another unrest, as witnessed following the December 2007 presidential elections, which saw at least 1,000 dead and tens of thousands displaced. A group named G10 has confirmed that results from the week without sex have so far been positive. It has worked, says one activist. Though we are calling it off today, Wednesday, the message is heard. Some argue the Bible tells women to be submissive. Notwithstanding its apparent success, the sex strike was considered as being very controversial among some ordinary Kenyans, and it goes on and on and on. In the next report, Naples' sex strike over fireworks. New Year's Eve could prove to be something of a damp squib for some men in the Italian city of Naples. Hundreds of women there have pledged to go without sex unless their men promise to refrain from setting off dangerous illegal fireworks. Local authorities are backing the women and have sent out text messages urging the men to make love, not explosions. Now, make love, not war. Where did that go? Where did that go? That very famous saying from the late 60s. Do we have to call ourselves hippies or be associated with any type of group or ideological system to believe that we have more love between each other instead of war? There's so many different points I want to make, but we're not sexually liberated, folks, in this society. When most of the strip bars in Portland have a devil theme, the woman on the leash theme, Where's the strip bar where everybody's wearing white and they're happy and they don't necessarily have the need to drug themselves with alcohol, which lowers our vibrational frequency? Not to put anyone down that drinks, but it's interesting to see how all these things are linked. So if we're really sexually liberated, where is the free love? Where is the compassion for those people in our community that are standing up against these atrocities happening to women? I can speak from personal experience. It isn't there at all in any way, shape, or form. There are people that I've gone out with. I've gone out with about 25 women in the last year since I haven't started working. I've definitely been looking for that one where there's that mutual energetic connection. But I've also, in that journey, have met many people that embody quite a bit of toxic energy that is not of the most refined. And I can get into details, but I don't think I should. I will tell you, 90% of the women that I've slept with don't want to be made love to. They want something else. And in my own personal experience of dealing with the opposite sex in Portland, Oregon, it's taught me very many things, quite a number of things about where we are energetically. Despite how beautiful we may be on the outside, inside, the energy that we have, that's something else. And the collective energy of the planet, that of course dictates physical manifestation, what kind of world we end up living in. And so when you start looking at it through personal experience, looking at the trends, looking at the patterns, looking at it from a larger picture, we can see where our society is going. And this is another reason why I'm very concerned about women's safety in the future. The lack of regard when it comes to these things, the lack of comments from the TV show. I like this point you brought up. Just the lack of concern because it's frightening information. I become the bad guy. Because of that, it's easy to see why there's a big apathetic factor, why some things are going on, why some people get away with certain things, because people are not standing up against it, and there are a lot of women that are not asserting their true divine feminine goddess self. Those that have been blunted in many ways by this world that we live in. Going back to this city, again, this city does not have the most beautiful past. When you look at the imperialistic nature of the U.S. government, the end of the Oregon Trail, Oregon City, and all the weird energy that's down there, moving up to Portland, Oregon, the Shanghaiing that took place, people being kidnapped from our city, yo in the Navy now, boy, and all the other stuff that was going on, the brothels that are run out of Old Town. This city has a vile sexual energy running through it. It also has an interesting warlike streak that runs through it, where every now and then people are shooting one another, fighting at the bar. Again, it was very, very interesting listening to the police radar last night. And another thing I want to say about the police, there's some police out there, I heard some female voices and male voices sounding very overwhelmed, emotional, tired, bombarded. Not all cops are evil. Not all cops are parasitic. And they're sitting here, you can tell just the sound frequency of their voice. What is going on? I mean, what is going on here? And it feels like the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, but we're going through dramatic changes on our planet. Not only stuff in the material plane that we talk about in terms of the new world order, but the energetic changes as well that we're feeling. We're going to keep going on here because there's a whole lot of stuff to go into. But here's an idea for a fake radio ad for Portland. There are so many ads for, articles written about Portland being the most livable city. And that creates the magnet factor for people to move here. But this is what a real fake radio ad for Portland ought to sound like. Tired of your wholesome connection with nature, family, and your fellow man? Move to Portland, Oregon, where apathy rules, sexual energy feels a bit vile, and Obama is going to save us. Here in Portland, Oregon, you can drink and strip your cares away while the planet goes to hell in a handbasket. Have another PBR while biking and strutting around like the conscious peacocks that we think we are. Come on! All the cool kids are doing